DNVR Broncos live, coming to you from Studio X, where the X stands for ecstasy.
Wow. Okay, there we go. New one.
We are so close to the football season that I'm in a state of ecstasy.
Man, I can view it that way, but then I also view it as like 4 weeks away.
It's not.
Well, it's 3 weeks and 1 day in terms of the NFL season. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
Also, if you're like me, you don't actually have to you don't have to count down to the NFL season. You count down to college football.
Yeah.
And that college football gets you through that last week.
And that's two weekends from now? 2
that
weeks
is September. I think the first game might be September 1st.
I think because Friday night is September 2nd. That's the first CU game. But are there week
is there
zero?
Week 0?
There might be week 0 games.
Week 0,
there
most
is
legendary
week 0.
thing ever.
The week 0 game, guess where
Isn't
it is?
Nebraska playing in Dublin?
Yes, exactly.
That's
It's
right.
Nebraska Northwestern in Dublin.
That's a reach.
It's just so dumb.
So then this is the last weekend without real meaningful football. Because that's just the following weekend.
Wow. Week 0, one of the greatest inventions ever.
Honestly,
really
I've
is.
been struggling these last couple days without preseason football.
Yeah.
Like that whole Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where there's constantly football to watch. It's a challenge coming back from that.
It does kind of remind me, though, of when you go to a restaurant that you love and they serve you bad food.
Yeah, to me, it reminds me of college football on a Saturday, and you think there's a banger game. You think it's you think it's two powerhouses, and then it's two just terrible teams, and you're like, oh no.
College football has never had a bad day.
They have disappointing games.
Yes, disappointing games, but what I mean is there's always another game that you can turn to.
That is
In
true.
fact, I just found out there is a Discord that someone started that they promise that if there's ever a close game late, they'll send you a notification with the channel to turn it on to and everything.
Wow.
So I'll be signing up for that.
Yes.
Because that's the best part of sitting on the couch on Saturdays. You're on the couch, you got your computer going, maybe a couple other streams, but you have one device is just looking at all the scores, and you're like, oh damn,
Yep.
Iowa State and Northern Iowa are close, and there might be an upset here. Let me flip over to that.
I'm just excited to be a full-on Grizz fan. My Saturdays I can dedicate to just being Montana football day, and then whatever else is on, you turn on as well. You patch in before and after. It's gonna be a really good time.
What I take from that, Henry, is you're just ready to toss your CU Alliance out the door.
I would never. I worked hard to have an alliance, and I will be getting drunk whenever there's no conflict with Montana.
There you go. Anyways, some interesting comments at the podium today.
Yes.
Being interpreted in a myriad of ways.
Yeah.
So let's hear the comments, shall we?
Let's do it.
We don't even have to go to Zach and Sports. Actually, we can toss directly to the videos, and then we'll digest them from there.
I think, to be honest, I think they kind of have a plan of what they want, kind of hitting in. But as far as the rotation go, I really don't know. I think they want Marshall probably to be the guy. But we do rotate. He'll take the first series, and then the second series with the ones I'll take. Sometimes we switch, but you kind of know what it is. You've been out here. But I don't know how they're going to do the rotation. I got to go back and look at how they kind of did things in Green Bay with the carries and things like that. But I'm not sure. My mindset is just kind of go out here and just compete, go hard as I can. I kind of don't know what the future holds as far as with that, but I just kind of want to put my best foot forward. So, when I do go out there, they be like, okay, we need to get them out here more. I know I got the game. I know I can play. I know I still got the juice, man. But we'll see, man. I really don't know.
Just hearing how you talk, that it seems like it does match.
Calm down, B-Mac.
It's funny that now they have mics for
The media.
For the media, and the media mics are way louder than the player mics.
Well, I assume they have to be turned up to a level so that someone at the back of the scrum will be picked up. So then when you have D-Mac there standing right next to the microphone, then everyone's ears explode.
It goes from the opposite. People are like, why don't they put mics out there for the media so we can hear their questions? Now
Turn
like,
the
it's
mic.
too loud.
Someone commented on our show yesterday based on how good our sound quality is, saying DNVR should be the ones miking the press conferences.
Wow. At first I heard that. I was like, yeah, let's do it. We should be. And then I was like, I don't want to set up mics out there. No way.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to be the one to deal with all that.
Henry, when have you ever been the one to deal with? Any of
The
that
3 years when I recorded a solo podcast and produced it myself.
But production on the end of setting up mics for the Broncos, that would fall on our production team.
I'm actually giving this one to Henry.
Let's go. Let's go.
He did have to self-produce his own podcast for a while.
I remember the podcast boards that we used to have in the bags.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
We saw one of those about a week ago, and boy, did it bring back some memories.
It did. We opened it up, and it was our podcast bag that we used to use. That feels like a lifetime ago.
It does.
Like sitting at my old house in DTC, like recording right before the pandemic. I feel like I was a kid then.
Let's take it back to your place before that, too.
Yep, all the way over there in the Highlands.
Yep.
We didn't always do it there, though, because that was during the time when we were allowed to have podcasts at the facility. Okay. Is that the main? We want to play the other one, too?
Yeah, let's hit the second one right now as well, because it just is more context to this. So Melvin was asked pretty much just to explain more on what he meant by that, and if it's something that he embraces.
Oh, it matters, man. I'm a competitor, man. You know, I come here, I want to compete. I want to, do all the right things, try to say all the right things. Kind of know what it is at times, and unfortunately, but, I'm still a competitor at the end of the day. You kind of take that away, then, the love's kind of gone, So I'm in my head every day, I kind of tell myself that's not the case. You're not just giving anyone's position. It's the NFL, you should be able to, you have to earn it. You have to earn it. And that's what I tell myself every day. Nothing's given. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of keeps me going, keeps me focused, keeps me finishing.
Melvin knows. Melvin knows what's up.
Which is what?
He said it, that he understands his place on this team, and he doesn't like it, and he's going to continue to keep pushing. That's going to make him continue to work very hard to try to get it back. But you kind of hear, he says, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And he doesn't fully understand why it's Javonte's job, but he understands that it's Javonte's job. And look, remember last year when it was Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams on the depth chart, they put Melvin Gordon / Javonte Williams as the number one running back, and it was such a cop-out because last year it was Melvin as the number one, Javonte as the number two. They didn't take a cop-out this year. No, Javonte Williams on last week's first depth chart that was released was number one. Melvin Gordon was number two. And today, he very much said that.
Yeah, I don't believe a word of what he's saying in terms of him being like okay with it or accepting it. Like he fully believes that it's only a matter of time before he's the starter. I think. And so that's fine. Like I appreciate that mindset. But I can hear this like annoyance in what he's saying. He's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they want Javonte to be the one. So like. He never in his mind imagined being the second running back, and he doesn't now, and he won't week one, even if he gets 5 carries to Melvin's or to Javonte's 20, he's always going to be thinking it's only a matter of time before I'm the starter. It's an interesting dichotomy between him and Javonte. Like a lot of times in these battles, it's all like this iron sharpens iron type of mentality, and I'm not getting that from these guys. As much as it's just like, if he eats, that means I don't get to eat.
And what's really funny is when we talk to Javonte, he just completely stays away from like what the rotation's going to look like. Javonte's like, whatever the team needs me to do. And now Melvin's being like, well, it's Javonte's job. And that doesn't mean that Melvin's not going to see the field. Of course we know I still believe it's going to be close to a 50-50
he said
split.
They probably want him to be the guy.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. And that shows that if you're the guy saying that, just where does it actually stand? And he very much understands. And actually, let's just play the final clip right now because it points to even more on this.
What do you think you need to do to earn it? You said it's about earning it.
Just be consistent, man. Just be consistent. You never, like I said, you don't know how the future plays out with anything. But you just got to go out there and just ball out. You got to make every opportunity count. Whether it's the same or less as last year, I really don't know. It's just crazy. But I just gotta. I know when I get in there, I gotta make it count, and that's all that matters. I gotta do what it takes. Hack told me, coming in. End of the day, it's about the Super Bowl. It's about winning the Super Bowl, and we're gonna do whatever is best for the team. So I'm bought into that 100% because I want the ring more than anything. But I do feel like I can help the team. So when I get in, I gotta show that.
Boom. This tells me that answer right there told me that he has known since day one that this might be the case. He said, when I got here, Hack told me that it's about buying in and it's all about Super Bowls. And I'm 100% bought in.
To me, he interprets that as, well, I'm going to end up giving this team the best chance to win a Super Bowl. So I'm in. I'm down. Sounds good to me.
Huh. Yeah, I mean...
And again, I'm not saying that as a bad thing for him. That's the way he should be looking at it.
It's the way every player...
Can you not tell like how much he hates saying this stuff?
Yes, I definitely can tell that.
It does feel like he's actually like trying to talk himself into it though. Like he's like spending time thinking like, okay, I've got to be okay with this. And it would be a difficult change to make. Like he's been a starter the last 9 years of his life, going back to 2 seasons at Wisconsin. And like you look at the numbers too, I mean... Since 2015, there's one running back with more yards from scrimmage than him. It's Zeke. Since 2015, there's 3 running backs with more touchdowns than him. The most is Derrick Henry, who only has 2 more. So he's right up there with all of the running backs in terms of production. Again, you pick a specific year and say since then, it's a little bit cherry-picked. But still, to go out and do that, be a starter for as long as he's been a starter, be 28 and have the job just kind of not just handed to Javonte, but you look at what they did last year. It's not like he blew Melvin out of the water.
Well, it was handed to Javonte because it was never a position battle.
This year?
Yeah.
That's what I
Probably
take
fair,
from Hackett telling him that. Yeah.
But it'd be tough. You would have to talk yourself into like, okay, this is my role.
I'm not saying this as any sort of bad thing towards Melvin, but I don't think he's accepted this. I don't think he's okay with it. And I don't think he understands it or likes it. And I get it. It's what I've been saying all along is that I think he's going to end up being close to the number 1, if not, ending up with more carries because as of right now, he is the more consistent player. Now, that could change this year. Maybe Melvin averages 5 yards maybe Javonte averages 5 yards per carry and he gets rid of the duds and keeps having, the big pop plays. But I think what Melvin is seeing is what I was seeing for most of camp. Now, I think Javonte came on really well late, which is like, I think I'm better than Javonte at this scheme. And I think that's eating away at him in a way that's just like, why are they so set on this guy being the number 1? I think I'm better than him at this right now.
Yeah, exactly. And this territory of being in a running back competition and sharing reps is not new to Melvin. He did it with Austin Eckler for 2 years. He won both of those jobs. He did it with Phillip Lindsay for 1 year. He won that job. He did it with Javonte Williams last year. He won that job. So being in a competition is nothing new to him, but being told or getting the idea from practice that he's the number 2 is completely new. So Ryan, I do think he is he's not fully comfortable with it and just not fully ready for what it means. And so he also is saying to himself exactly what you said. I'm the better running back. I'm going to be better. So I'm not just going to hand this thing over. And the way I interpreted his last answer was saying, it kind of feels like the Broncos are handing this job to Javonte Williams, and nothing's handed to you in the NFL. You have to go earn it. So I'm going to go earn it. So it's almost like challenging Javonte, like, hey, you're given a little head start by the coaches now. I'm coming to get you.
And I think he's right. Now,
I do too.
All this means is that Javonte has to not let go. They're essentially, giving Javonte the ball and saying it's yours until you let it go. And he has to not let it go. But it's so hard to see. We might not ever see Javonte or Melvin in the preseason. We didn't, the most we saw was the Cowboys practice. Even then, they're not bringing them to the ground. So it's like, we're not going to know. And because of that, Javonte is going to get the benefit of the doubt maybe the first 4 weeks of the season, I would say. It could be less than that if things don't go well. But it's basically like, let's just say 2 week. He's getting a 2-game trial at the beginning saying, like, we want you to be the number one. Take it and run with it. But don't forget that Melvin's right behind you. And Melvin's going to be thinking, like, watch this.
And Melvin's also going to be thinking, like, how could you not want me out there? Like, look at what I've done.
Yep.
Like, from being a 15th overall pick back in the day. Like, that would be so hard to just sit on the bench while somebody else gets the starting job, not because they went out and were better than you.
And I think what's going to be huge is fumbles. And not just from Melvin, but from Javonte as well. If one of those guys comes out the first 2 weeks, Ryan, and has 2 fumbles or even 1 fumble, touch wood, then I think it's going to completely flip. And if that's Javonte having a fumble, then they're going to let the consistent Melvin have the ball. And if he doesn't fumble it away, then he's probably going to run away with the job. And when I mean run away, I still think this is going to be very close to a 50-50 split, maybe 55-45, especially with Melvin believing that this is Javonte's job, maybe 60-40, but it can get really close or even flip if just one guy has a big game and the other guy doesn't.
Yeah, are you surprised that it's very clear they've told... There's been some sort of communication to Melvin like, hey, this is, we're going to be giving Javonte the first crack at this. Is that surprising to you that they didn't just from a coach motivating player like they always do, they just lie? Are you surprised that they didn't say yeah, you'll have a chance to win the job?
I think it was probably obvious when Javonte was going through all the drills first during training camp. Maybe there hasn't even been a conversation. Maybe that's what he's saying. I think they want Vontae to be the guy. Because there was one day, I think, that Melvin was the first running back through, and that was one where Mike Boone was on the field too. So I wonder what the communication is, because that's one of the tougher parts of being a coach. Is figuring out are we splitting these reps for no reason? Are we telling guys, here's where you stand? That's a lot of just little decisions that have to be made.
And speaking of tough things for a coach, I think this running back room is going to be very interesting. And maybe one of the toughest parts of the job that Nathaniel Hackett has to manage is managing both of these guys to not just make sure that both are happy off the scenes, but to make sure that you're getting the best production from that running back group as well.
And it almost sounds like you're playing Zoo Tycoon or something. You gotta
what a good
what
game.
Is that?
Oh, you've never played these?
Zoo Tycoon?
Oh my god. Oh, I'm about to ruin your weekend.
No.
You're about to spend all weekend playing Zoo Tycoon.
What about Roller Coaster Tycoon?
I've heard of Tycoon, but no,
They're
never
incredible.
opened it.
Okay.
I imagine
Ski
it's
Resort
like a
Tycoon?
red and yellow game.
Essentially, you are operating a business.
Okay.
And you have to if you raise the prices too high, then the customers are mad. If you raise your wages too low, then your employees are mad.
You get to build monorails and shit. It's incredible.
What was the one? Sim City? Not The Sims, but Sim City. Did you ever play that one?
No,
I was more so in the Tycoons.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Similar
either way, every move you make, there's every action has a reaction, right?
Yeah. Science. Look at you.
Yes.
Is that physics?
Probably.
Shit.
Wow.
You saw this happen with the wide receivers when it was Demarius, Emmanuel, Deshaun, and Cortland. If you remember, Deshaun was, he was supposed to be good.
Yep.
And there was a lot of strife in that room over trying to get the young guys involved. And it actually really upset Demarius. If you remember, he was very unhappy over snaps in the Jets game.
Yep.
And then, of course, later down the road, you had Emmanuel essentially quit on the team because he didn't feel like he was getting his fair share.
Yep.
So this stuff happens. Now, I'm not saying necessarily that Melvin is going to do that, but, Emmanuel is Emmanuel, right? He's on one end of the spectrum. The interesting part of that is Demarius. Demarius was on the opposite side of the spectrum. He was the ultimate team player, but also a vet who had earned everything in the league.
Yep.
And for him to be like rolling his eyes and upset, he's like, you guys are putting that guy over me.
Yep.
It's a balance for sure. And
Great
you
point.
have to feed the ball around to make sure that you're not upsetting. And Melvin, while, I think he's also a good team player, is the type of guy who, if he feels like he's being done dirty once the season starts, he won't be quiet about it.
And on top of that, what happens if the team does lose 2 in a row or 3 out of 4, and then the winning that he said he's 100% bought into isn't there, as well as the touches or the starts or whatever is important to him stat-wise or personal-wise, then that's not there. That's when you wonder.
Yep. I mean, which also brings me back to the whole diva week.
Yeah, the cowboy diva.
Yeah,
or the country diva.
Country diva,
Country
yes.
diva.
When Emmanuel, they were up there 3-0.
Yep.
3-0, and Emmanuel's complaining about the wide receivers not getting more balls.
Yeah. Well, if only he knew what was coming.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So one more thing. Allie has a tweet pulled up. What does this mean, guys? So PFF tweeted out what Melvin said. They want Vontae to be the guy. Melvin Gordon quote tweeted it.
Okay, well, first of all, PFF tweeted it out as totally incorrect.
They added a caption to it.
Well, yeah, their caption is like, Melvin Gordon knows it's time for the Javonte Williams breakout year, which is like not where he was going with that.
He certainly didn't say that.
But then he quote tweeted it with the smirk.
Yep, one smirk.
I think he's smirking because he's like, you guys totally misinterpreted what I was saying.
And I think he's saying, just
see.
wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wait. All the best to my teammate, but we'll see if it's him having the breakout year.
This is the only place on the team where this is happening.
Right?
Where it's like, this is a true battle. And it is one of the things where it makes sense because it's the only other position really than quarterback where there can only be one on the field. And it's not necessarily true, but for the most part, it is true.
But then the other piece of that, though, is that there's 3 teams in the league that have one running back that they just go to.
Yeah,
And this is like a 50-50 split, and these guys, if they were somewhere else, probably are getting like, 70% instead. So there's that too, but there is kind of a rotation. Like, there's a lot of good running backs who are number 2 backs.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the Broncos could have the best 1-2 punch in the NFL. Now, I think if we're ranking it right now, I wouldn't put them as the number 1-1-2 punch because of what you have out in Cleveland with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, but they're very, very close to being an elite 1-2 back combo.
Didn't Kareem Hunt demand a trade or something?
Yeah, but I think he's still practicing,
said no.
maybe?
Yeah.
All right.
He was like, I demand a trade. And they're like, no. He's like, all right, I'll talk to you guys later.
Dude, we don't have our quarterback for half the season, potentially. We're not going to trade you.
They might not have a quarterback, period.
And we may get news on that tomorrow. Is that what I saw?
Well, I just meant like Deshaun Watson might suck now, which would be so awesome.
Wouldn't that be?
That's what happens when you don't play football.
I know.
I feel like 31 fan bases are going to be cheering for that.
For sure. I mean, when you have the Jags fans coming together to chant at you,
yeah,
like you've really screwed up.
That's
Since
the
when are
only
there
time
Jags
they've chanted
fans?
since '96.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on this? Let me ask you this. After hearing that and after seeing all of camp, we've talked about this a little bit throughout the offseason. Actually, probably a lot of it about throughout the offseason. What do you have the carry split at? Or you could go numbers or you can just go a percentage.
Give me 60-40.
I'll still go 55-45.
And I think you're probably right. You say that and you're just like, that's like 50% more. 60-40.
Right.
Like that, it really is a big gap.
I was really, really impacted by the Cowboys practice, but I'm going to try to view the whole training camp, and I'm going to say that it's 51-49 Melvin.
Oh, Melvin. There you go. You're sticking by your guns. I love it. I absolutely love it. And something else that I love.
Javonte was so good in that Cowboys practice. It fired me up.
He was. He was really
but
good.
I guess he owns the Cowboys.
And if he continues to play like that, then, I mean, if he can just build consistency onto his game like we've talked about, then, man, he's going to be one of the best backs in the NFL.
Totally.
Yes. And there's, like, crazy hype inside the league about Javonte Williams.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know. Like, it's weird to me that people inside the league are more hyped on him than like we are.
It's so true. The reason I'm just not so hyped on either Broncos running back is one, it's going to split, and two, I just think this is going to be the rush show this year.
I think you're right, but it is wild. I mean, there are people inside the NFL comparing him to like ridiculous names.
Very true. It's very, very true. And speaking of ridiculous, our friends over at Evoca TV are getting rid of the ridiculousness that's happening on TV in Denver, Colorado, where you can't watch the Nuggets or the Avs, and it's really expensive to watch the Rockies if you want to. You got to get a premium cable package in order to get those. They're saying, no. All you have to do is go to evoca.tv/Colorado10. That's evoca.tv/Colorado10. And they're going to give you access to all of those teams. You can watch all of those, including you can watch us at DNVR over on your TV, which is awesome, at only $25 a month plus a $5 receiver fee. And if you go to evoca.tv/Colorado10, you'll get $10 off the first 3 months, so it's $15 a month plus a $5 receiver fee. Check them out over at evoca.tv/Colorado10.
And also us. We've got...
no, I was taking that one.
Oh, well, guess what? Well, I'm doing it today.
Talk about the golf tournament then.
No, don't talk about the golf tournament. Talk about Owen.
No.
The golf tournament.
If you want to talk about us, you got to talk about the golf tournament.
Okay, we're talking about the golf tournament. So, the Friday after 2 Fridays from now is the golf tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's actually...
No, it's only 2 Fridays from now.
2 Friday, this Friday, the next Friday, the other Friday.
Labor Day weekend.
September
Labor Day
2nd?
weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, wow.
First Buffs game.
Yep.
And the first Buffs
So you've
game.
already dumped the Buffs.
No,
My
I
goodness.
would never. I'm a little bit frazzled right now. You should come out to the golf tournament. They're a lot of fun. Last one was at City Park. This next one is going to be
Raccoon Creek.
at Raccoon Creek.
You really should have taken the O.
I know, I really should have. But yeah, which is also a really fun course for you guys to come play. They have all sorts of different prizes, and it's a scramble, which is the best way to golf because it means if you do something wrong, somebody else can bail you out.
Kind of like what we're doing for you right now.
I think you made me in a bad spot.
Let's keep them in the sand.
We took your
in the
sand shot.
right
We
now.
took your sand shot.
There's
Is
only
what we did.
two more days to sign up, so that's why we need to be explaining this now.
We need to go
Yes.
fast. People need to know about this.
Yes.
So now you know.
Do
There you
they?
go. Friday, September 2nd, Raccoon Creek Golf Course. The best part about it is it's a perfect way to kick off the football season because you go to that, then you have like a little lunch break in between. Well, we'll be serving lunch. And then go to the Buffs game.
Oh, man, it
Wow.
sounds so good. And
Or
then football's definitely back.
Just have a night, and, if your Rams are playing the next day.
Oh, there we go. Are the Rams playing the next day?
They do.
Look at you. Wow, look at both CU people knowing this.
Yikes. Wait, they start their season against Michigan?
In Michigan.
they do. In
Oh,
Michigan
that-
at the Big House.
Yeah.
What a vibe
Or it
killer
could, or
for
it
the
could be an
new-
amazing upset.
It could. It sure could. And also a shout out to our friends over at Owen. Owen, spelled OWYN, stands for Only What You Need. I've been loving these things. I've talked about this before. Allie used to have this like plant-based protein in our house, and it was the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted. And so when Parker brought up Owen, he's like, hey, like, have you tried this stuff? It's plant-based protein shakes. I was like, I've had bad experiences. Then I had one. Boom. Love it. Yep. It's actually delicious, and it's 20 grams of protein, which is awesome. 100% plant-based, free of all artificial ingredients, allergen-friendly, no gluten, no dairy. It's really great, and you can get it for 20% off when you go to liveowen.com and use the code DNVR20.
And like you said, some delicious flavors, too.
Really good flavors.
Yeah. So check them out. Check out the golf tournament, which Henry did such a great job telling
Thank
us
you,
about.
Zach.
You're welcome, Henry. Preseason.
Yes.
Speaking of
I
games
love it.
that really matter, and we're so hyped for this, Saturday at 11 a.m.
So there's been some takes flying around out there. Some by media members.
Okay.
Some by people in our Facebook comment section. I would equate those two things exactly the same.
I hope I'm not one of your media members you're referring to.
But a lot of people feel like Russell Wilson and the starters should play a little bit in the preseason. And I think that's one of the silliest things I've ever heard.
I agree. But Henry, you don't. You're one of the silly people.
Just give him 2 drives. Just this week against the Bills, just give them 2 drives. Give that whole offense 2 drives. You're going to be 2 drives ahead of where you would be when you start the season. I know, like
you and John 817-834-6321 all agree on this.
And I know, like, I get you don't want him to get hurt. Like, obviously you don't want him to get hurt, but like you let him practice. And there's a little difference. You don't let him go to the ground and practice, but you have to draw a line somewhere. And I'm down to draw that line conservatively. But I still think you're being pretty conservative if you run your starters out there for 2 series.
If there was any case to be made for playing the starters, it was absolutely and utterly obliterated when Jonas Griffith got hurt on the first play.
All right. A day after Zach Wilson went down?
Yep. It's just like, it's not worth it. Like, even if you're 2 drives behind heading into the regular season, it's just worth it to start the regular season with your players.
I completely agree. And on top of that, you're playing the Seattle Seahawks. You should be able to take a half off and still be able to beat them. I think it's going to be a little closer of a game than it really should be because of all the emotions going into it. But if you start off poorly for the first 2 drives, and pretty much I think we're referring to the offense being slow, so you get 1 first down in the first 2 drives, and you have Corliss Waitman come in and hit a 60-yard bomb each time.
Baby.
Or he hits the 34-yarder to the 21 we saw in the preseason.
Fair. We know it's going to be Sam Martin. I was just pandering
punt
to
God.
yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
But you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And here's the way that I view it is you can have your starters be fully ready for week 1. Let's just say playing in the preseason helps them be 100% ready for week 1, and they're ready to go. But Russell Wilson or Cortland Sutton's or literally any starter, Jonas Griffith, is out for the first game, then you've already lost because, not just out for the first game, but out for the season, then what are you doing? It does not make sense. So I would rather lose against Seattle because the entire team is starting off slow because you didn't play him in the preseason and have everyone going into week 2 than I would risk some guy being out for 8 games.
Yeah.
So to me, it's all or nothing. I truly, utterly believe there is nothing to be gained from 2 drives in the preseason.
Really?
I don't think it changes anything. In fact, I don't see any difference between what you did at joint practice with the Cowboys and adding 2 drives in which you get tackled to the ground rather than just wrapped up like that. Those practices are happening at full speed. Everyone is trying as hard as they can. And doing it in the preseason, even if you were to say there's another level, it doesn't happen in the preseason. It still just happens in the regular season.
It'd be nice to see Javonte break 1 tackle before the season.
Well,
See Melvin break 1.
But you're just saying that from like an entertainment standpoint.
No, but I really think that if you go in there and the first time you try to break a tackle is week 1 against, Seattle's been playing their starters quite a bit. Those guys are going to be hardened. Like, I really think that you don't score on your first 2-3 drives if you don't give them some run in the preseason.
Wow. Well, I guess only time will tell because I don't think they're going to play 1 second in the preseason.
So then, Henry, do you, and I truly mean this, do you think that playing this weekend and then not playing again for 20-ish days will help them?
That is a good point. See, I picked out this one just because you have time to rest. Like, even Jonas Griffith, it was potentially back, and that's a pretty serious injury. But there is something to that. I still think, though, just to go out there and have some sort of rhythm, just see it actually work on a field wearing like a real jersey in real pads against a real other team, and there is tackling. I do think that it really does just get you a little bit sharper.
What do you think? What happens if you go out and it's 3 and out?
Run him back out.
Yeah,
3 and out again.
Run him back out.
You know what I mean?
Run out?
Now, because you have to draw the line eventually as the coach. And you do not want to leave a bad taste in their mouth, but you can't just keep running them out there until it works. So it's like,
I might just do it twice, regardless. I might be tempted to give them 1 drive in the 3rd game if things really don't go well, but I wouldn't push it past.
What sucks for me is that if they were to just give them 1 drive and they went down and scored a touchdown, it would make me feel so much better.
Yeah.
But if I'm a coach, I wouldn't even my practice would be a joke. Like, everyone would want to play for me because even training camp would be so
doing
weak.
Jog-throughs every day?
Every day. Like we'd be doing tackling drills on dummies, to try and just get into that. But there would be no full speed work ever for me because it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to have guys get injured, in my opinion. I know football coaches disagree with me there. But it's definitely not worth it to play them in the preseason. And there's no better example for this than look who won the Super Bowl last year. It was the Los Angeles Rams. Sean McVay was the first one to say, my guys aren't playing at all during the preseason. So there's at least precedent for you'll be fine. But I'm really of the belief that, going and running 5 plays at full speed does not change anything for when you get out there week 1. And of all people I'm worried about, Russell Wilson, the absolute least.
But his game translates the least to practice of maybe any quarterback. Lamar probably less.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It's just most of the league does it.
But he's been doing it for 10 years, man. 158
But not
games.
with this team and not in this system.
But and that's why I was going to say you have to go all or nothing. If you would have told me they're going to play a quarter every game, then I would have said, there's actually, you could get tangible benefits out of that. And what I have to admit, when I saw Drew Lock in there in the fourth quarter against the Steelers last week, I was like, oh, they're committed to this. They're really going to play these guys in the preseason. And that will be beneficial to them when they get to the season. Now, is it enough to help them with the talent disparity that they have? I don't think so. But, I was going to tune in to see Drew Lock start, which, I got to be honest, at this point, I just feel bad.
Yeah.
If you catch COVID at this point, it's not because you're being negligent. It's just bad luck.
His luck, when the first thing happened a couple of years ago, and everyone's, oh yeah, it's the worst luck. I'm like, no, it's just that it just happened to him. Now his luck is really bad.
It's really bad. Within 20 minutes of Adam Schefter tweeting about how he got the first team reps in practice and he's starting on Thursday. I think they play on Thursday.
Yep.
20 minutes later, he's tested positive for COVID. He will not play. It's like,
oh man.
So, but that pretty much seals it for me. It's going to Geno, at least for week 1. And that's a bummer for Drew. Kind of a bummer for us, at least from a storyline perspective.
I still think, though, at those first week games, when you really, really should win, don't throw the revenge game factor into it. You know, just this feels a lot better.
That's why CU fans hate playing CSU in the first game of the
season.
It's it's already a toss-up. Now you have a team with less talent, but they're so fired up and riled up, and anything could go wrong in week 1. It's dangerous. Now it hasn't mattered the last 5 times I played, but it is one of those things. It's you don't want to add another variable to it, so maybe it's good. But you also have Russell Wilson revenge game.
It's true.
Totally.
And you also have the 12s revenge game, though.
Yep.
They're going to be loud.
They are going to be loud.
I hate that so much.
Yeah.
They literally just stole from Texas A&M. Even the font of the flag is the same thing. They just stole everything. And so we're the 12s now. And then they make the dumb jerseys with the 12 and it says fan on the back.
That's brutal.
It's
Good
so
news is
bad.
12 is a terrible number, so it's kind of funny that they were.
It really, it's Paxton Lynch number.
It is. Not Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Exactly. Henry, the one part where I can buy a little bit is just confidence. And it's not...
confidence goes both ways.
Yeah, it does. And you can have the reverse confidence and losing the confidence, like you said, 3 and out. Then everyone, including fans, are losing their minds about it. But that's one thing that you won't have. However, I'm not as worried. If this were Drew Lock, you'd probably want him going into week 1 with as much confidence as possible. I don't have to worry about Russell Wilson's confidence.
You seen that? That man wore all white.
The big thing, though, is to me, it's just the physicality. When so much of the league, I stopped counting, but it was something like 12 of 18 starting quarterbacks had played through at some point. And that includes Mahomes and Josh Allen, and all these defenses are out there and they're flying around hitting. You just don't want to show up in Seattle and the offensive line's getting pushed around, and Jamal Adams is flying around hitting people, and Cortland Sutton's getting knocked backwards, and you're like, Cortland Sutton's getting hit like that. The running backs aren't breaking tackles. And I just don't want to be in a situation where that offense is just soft because they haven't been through it yet.
And if that happens and they come out week 2 and they seem normal and they don't seem like that, Henry, well, then you'll be right about that. But I'll also still feel comfortable about the Broncos not playing their starters. I will give the win to Seahawks and Drew Lock if it means that everyone's healthy week 2.
I don't think it's going to matter. I really don't think it will.
I don't either.
And the thing is, what percentage of drives do you think an average offense goes 3 and out on?
20? I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say
20%?
1 out of 4, 1 out of 5.
Yeah, okay.
So like, even if they were to go 3 and out on the first drive, I would just be like, yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, what percentage of drives does somebody get hurt on, and hurt in a way that keeps them out a month?
I have no idea. That one we definitely don't have any context.
That is
but
tough.
less than 20%,
but not a lot,
for sure.
A lot less.
I mean, it's just one of those risks. I don't know. I'm personally not willing to take that risk. For your season to be over before it starts is just not worth it.
Nope. I completely agree.
Like, think about the Zach Wilson thing, man. Mm-hmm. Even if he's back, let's say, I think they said he could be back in 4 to 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm. He's probably back for the opener.
Really?
That's what they're saying now.
I think what
it's
I
not
saw
as
was
bad as,
outside shot him being. I don't know. Maybe you saw something more updated. I don't know.
If he's there for week 1, I might change my tune on this, but it's like
I wouldn't.
Your whole season just changed. It was all supposed to be the Zach Wilson coming of age season.
Yeah.
And now you're probably going to be talking about for the first quarter of the season, well, he's not 100% from the knee thing, you know, and it's an evaluation year in the same way that it was when Drew Lock got hurt. You know, we spent this is the Drew Lock season. It's all about finding out what you have in Drew Lock. Week 2, he's injured, and he's never the same the whole rest of the season. And it's like, well, that was just everyone's time was wasted. The whole season was just a waste.
To me, though, like with a guy like Zach Wilson, I'm absolutely playing him in the preseason because he just needs the reps. Like, you need to get him as sharp as you can get him before the season.
I agree with that.
Okay.
But my point is, your whole season, the whole point of the season was Zach Wilson, and now the whole season is off kilter.
Yep.
Maybe he misses week 1, but it's...
But even if he comes back, he's going to come back at under 100%.
And he's not Tom Brady. He's supposed to be moving around back there.
Yes.
And fluid and with that knee. So I just wouldn't play anyone anymore. Now, so what do you guys think of playing Calvin Anderson, Alberto, obviously not Jonas Griffith, and Malik Reed? The 3 starters that played last week. Is that foolish to do? Or do you see it as they're not as valuable and they do need the reps more than other guys?
My hot take, none of those guys are starters. Calvin Anderson's going second team with Billy Turner back, probably. Randy Gregory's back. Malik Reed's going second team. With those 2 going that way, Alberto, I think Dulcich might be the guy.
Greg Dulcich still isn't practicing.
Well, then maybe it's one of the Erics.
You know what?
No. Don't speak that into existence, Henry.
It's both of the Erics. I have to say, like, the Jamar Johnson being cut yesterday, the first 5, was a support of what I've been saying about how, like, if you don't practice, man, you just kind of fall by the wayside. We never, I mean, I'm saying this metaphorically, we never even met Jamar Johnson because he came into camp injured. Or no, did he come into camp with COVID? So he missed the first week. Then he came in, then he pulled a hammy.
Yep.
He was out. He never he didn't participate in camp last year.
Yep.
And then it was just like, he just kind of ceased to exist.
Yeah, and then Caden Stearns, the guy in his draft class, just absolutely took off.
Yep.
So it drowned him out even more.
No, I'm not saying that's going to happen to Greg Dulcich, but it's the whole point of, like, you kind of have to be involved or else you just fall into the darkness.
I completely agree. You go to dark spaces and you go to the dark side.
That quote was awesome, hearing DJ Jones actually say it out loud.
Yeah,
like when I watched the video that we posted, I was like, this is fire, actually.
Yeah, it really was. And with Jamar Johnson, though, really quick, props to George Payton. That wasn't a John Elway pick. That was a George Payton draft pick, and he moved on from him, 18 months later? Less than 18 months later? I think that's impressive that he was able to say, yep, this guy's not it. I'm moving on. And I'm not even going to save him for, like, the final cut day to make it seem better on myself. I think he's one of the 5 worst players or 5 most dispensable players on our team. I'm going to move on.
And I think that was kind of obvious when you watched him, too. Like, I know he, like, led the game in tackles in the preseason game, but on the first day of camp, I remember thinking, that's a small guy.
Yeah.
One of these guys does not seem like he fits. And that's not to, like, bash him, but it's one of those things where you just kind of watch and you're just like, you have J.R. Reed there. Like, how could you possibly not keep J.R. Reed and keep Jamar Johnson just instead? So I do think that it was a kind of clear decision. Although I do agree, like, it may be expected later.
I think this actually happened, but I kind of remember draft Twitter, like, loving Jamar Johnson.
Yep.
And then they drafted Caden Stearns, and I think I said on our draft show, like, I like this guy better than the other guy. Because Caden Stearns has a very obvious skill that he is at the top level at, which is speed. I mean, he just flies at that position.
And the tackling.
Exactly. But like tackling was an issue for him in college.
Yeah. But now, I mean, yeah. And maybe it isn't even the tackling so much as just like the stopping
impact.
power.
Yeah.
Like when it's like Kareem Jackson.
Yes.
Which feels crazy to say, but like you see him in that preseason game. Again, you're going up against backup running backs, whatever. But as soon as he hits somebody, they don't move forward. And he's always in the right place. And he flies to that place. Like even with J.R. Reed, when he's coming downhill, you see him move just a little bit slower. He's less decisive. But yeah, when you see that, it's so easy to see him replacing Kareem. It's just the coverage.
How I've always felt is just like he's Kareem 2.0.
Like you just don't find guys who hit like that anymore.
But it's the same reason. Like Kareem's a little more compact, but it's speed. Its speed turns into power. You know,
and you
the way that
they
fly. Yes, and you have to be missing a couple screws to want to run that fast and run into people.
Yeah, you do, and that's why I was never good. I had too many screws. Tight end.
Zach's a little screwy.
I forget where we came from. Oh, in terms of those three guys playing, it's for me. It's all or nothing, and so maybe Henry's right, and he just doesn't consider those guys starters. Alberto is the one that I think I would have a hard time thinking that they don't consider him a starter, especially with him being number one on the depth chart and being lined up number one most of camp.
Mm-hmm. And
that one to me is. That one to me is just like, dude, you're going to have to learn how to block.
I know.
So we're going to have you try to do it in the preseason, and it didn't go well.
And now it goes to what you said about confidence going the wrong direction. That last game probably hurt his confidence, especially his confidence, his coach's confidence, and his ability to block. So now you got to send him out for a second game to say, okay, can you just get a backside block? That's all we're asking you to do here. And
get run over
build
for all
the confidence. Right, but slow the guy down. Right? That was my philosophy in football when I played. Yeah, against the backup. And so I do play Alberto this week, but Henry, I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think when Billy Turner's back, he's the right tackle. And obviously Randy Gregory, they did a jog through today. Randy Gregory is out there the entire time. So
Yoggin?
Yoggin a little bit. So, not that big of a deal. I'm sure when they go full speed tomorrow, he's not going to be out there in team, or certainly not the whole team period. But Billy Turner not out there today for an excused absence. So curious to see if he's back tomorrow.
The Tom Brady plan.
No, 14 days off? Is Tom back? No. He still has another week.
Yeah.
That's being severely undercovered.
Oh, 100%.
What is happening?
100%.
How is that not like huge news?
And it happens a week after we find out he spent a year talking to the Dolphins about trying to get down there.
Right.
Like, how many times does that man have to cheat before we say, like, actually, no, maybe we don't love him?
Well, technically, that's not on the player, right?
It's the
player can't tamper.
That is true. But, I mean, you're involved in something that's very against the rules.
I have theories on what's going on with Tom.
You want to share them, or are you're not going to? Because you've already shared them with us, and I think you may be onto something.
I'll share it in a way that's dumbed down a little bit.
Wow, the disrespect to the viewer.
No, it's just like it's actually respect.
Maybe washed out a little more.
There we go.
It's just like I think that his family wanted him to retire so they could spend time with him.
Okay.
He obliged.
Okay.
Decided to retire.
Yep.
Couldn't handle it. Mm-hmm. Maybe his family sucks. Maybe he just loves football. Maybe a little bit of both. That was a joke.
I'm not sure it was.
He says, like, I got to go back. And once he's gone and he's back on the grind, his family is like, yo, this is effed up. And so now he's trying to repair some issues with his family.
So do you buy that it was pre-planned?
Absolutely not.
Because what I think would be very smart is
if coach agrees to letting their starting quarterback leave for camp.
If you can have Tom Brady or you can have no one,
that's fair.
You probably do that.
What player that is dedicated to winning leaves for all of training camp?
That's a question I can't answer. Unless he just says training camp is so stupid. I've done 23 of these, 22 of them, whatever. I don't need to be there.
Maybe he was scared of Kyle Trask. He wants to run.
How's Kyle looking?
He killed it this week.
Did he actually?
Yeah, he was incredible.
Jesus. There's no way that was planned. No one plans that. Also, you have to lose some respect in the locker room. Again, I know you're Tom Brady, but I could tell you this: if Russell Wilson were to do a very similar thing, I guarantee you, I would be hearing from people in the locker room that that's whack.
I do agree.
Yeah,
it's putting yourself in front of the team.
We don't know what the real reason is. So maybe there's a legitimate thing going on that he feels like he has to take care of, and that's why I think it wasn't pre-planned. It's like I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, like something real is happening with his family, and
they did say nothing serious is happening,
right?
But I mean,
yeah,
it's not like life or death.
Exactly. But if it's not life or death, why do you need 10 days?
Well, all of his family members have birthdays this week.
No,
it's
birthday week.
I think there's potential that he's dealing with something that is maybe a little bit bigger than football. But that being said,
not what you texted us.
I don't know.
No, I guess that is. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I'll be happy to let your fiance know that you think football's bigger than that.
You couldn't convince me that there's anything bigger than football.
There you go.
Yeah. Also, Kyle Trask, 25 of 33, 258.
Wow.
Whoa. So they let him play the whole game?
Well, Blaine Gabbert was 5 for 5.
Wow.
Jeez. Bucks offense is wagon.
Yeah.
They don't even
Tom
need
Brady just riding the Bucks.
Could be.
Feels like
coattails there. I don't know. Maybe.
Anyways, I think that's all we have here.
I think that's it.
So Henry.
Oh boy.
How much would you play them? Would you play them this week?
Yeah, this would be the
much?
week. I'd 2 series.
Okay.
2 series. If you see something that makes you want to give him a series next week, you feel free to do that.
Fair enough. And anyone predicting that will happen?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
I don't think so either.
It's really funny, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but the more we talk to Nathaniel Hackett, the more he just digs in his feet to like how stupid preseason is, how it's all about getting guys healthy for week 1.
I love that.
Preseason
You guys know me. I hate preseason.
Right.
Like, yes.
Yes. And he just keeps it. But he didn't start off like that. It was more so of a lukewarm response at first, and now he's all in. So I think we're going to see this version of Nathaniel Hackett his entire time with the Broncos.
I was having a debate on the sideline today with a media member who won't be named. If Bama showed up to a preseason game, they took on the Broncos preseason team, who wins?
The Broncos.
The backups?
The Broncos backups. Like,
Broncos
I mean,
preseason squad.
You know, it's like the Josh Johnson crew for like a couple series, flip it over to the real depth guys.
Oh, man. I think it's close.
You're insane.
I think it's close.
I think it's a 10-point Broncos win.
That's pretty close.
From considering, I think that's fair.
Man, though, the way Josh Johnson played, I think you do give it to the vet. But if you're talking about another backup quarterback, I don't know. Let's just even say Brett Rippon. Give me Bryce Young in Alabama.
Dude.
Alabama's big.
Okay, maybe you can say that. But first of all, and it also depends on how much the Broncos actually want to win. Like, are they playing with a preseason mentality?
No, they're playing to win.
They're playing to win. They're going to dominate. Because Bryce Young's going to see things he's never before seen in his life. He's going to not have that much time to prepare for it. All of these guys are going to be going up against grown men's strength, something they've never felt. It would be a smackdown.
Do you know who the Broncos starter would be at center this week?
Don't care.
Casey Tucker.
The homie.
Casey Tucker would be the
Big
Broncos
Tuck, as they call him.
center.
But it's like McTelvin a gym. Like a gym. Somebody said a gym, so I decided I was gonna try it that way this time. I was like, he lives in a gym.
McTelvin and a gym.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. That has to be a gym.
A gym.
Like they've never seen anything like that.
Or a gym.
Like that man's what, 25, 26 now? Like strong, quick. Yeah. Like he's beating up on that offensive line, and that's not because he's like a standout of this group.
Also, like Casey Tucker, I'm pretty sure was like all Pac-12. You know, it's not like he's like a scrub. From a college standpoint.
Pac-12 to SEC.
I'll tell you this. I think that the offense has to throw less than 10 passes in the game.
Because they just run it down their throat?
They just run all over them.
Yeah,
That's
probably.
Fair. That's
like
fair.
Will Anderson coming off the edge. Maybe
Heck yeah.
I mean, he's better than Nick Benito.
Yes.
And that's like an easy
Sure,
one.
he would have been number 1 pick if he came out this year, probably.
Yep.
Unless Bryce Young also came out, in which case he would be number 1 pick.
Yep.
And then like you start looking around at running backs. Mostly on the Broncos side, where it's like, are these guys really that much better than the Bama crew? Like,
no.
It comes down to strength and experience.
Yep.
and that's what would be the big difference. Like the thing about Will Anderson is he's going onto a team full of men, whereas right now he's just another one of the kids in this context. So like you can kind of like they grow up quick because they're going into a system, and there's people that take them under their wing and veterans around. Right now they're just a bunch of kids, and they don't even have to do that much because they're so much better than everyone else that like they would be seeing route concepts and the coverages and stuff that they've never seen before.
It's a weird one though, where it's like, well, Aiden Hutchinson, Trayvon Walker, they both look incredible so far, but also that 1 year that they have on Will Anderson, who is a better talent. Like, is that a big separation? I don't know.
Pat Surtain was pretty damn good last year.
The top level players are going to hold their own.
Yep.
It's anyone who's not a first round pick is going to get dominated.
Yep.
I think that's fair.
But there's like 4 or 5 of those guys.
Has tons of those guys. Now, not absolutely like
so 5 of 22 are first round picks.
And you're talking about a quarterback. You're probably talking about 2 offensive linemen, an edge rusher, and someone in the defensive back room,
and some of the wide receivers.
Yeah, exactly.
You probably got
at least
10
one of them.
You guys are helping me.
Round
no,
give me Bama.
17 of these players don't belong on the field with these NFL guys.
We're talking about backups, though.
It is true.
Yeah,
that is true. I mean, I guess you could say that all 22 will end up in a camp.
Take Eric Saubert, drop him on an SEC team. How does he fit in?
He wins the Mackey Award. I'm dead serious.
But I mean, like, he's not going to be Kyle Pitts good.
No, because he's not as fast or as athletic, but he's going to be so much stronger than everyone.
Think so.
He would be strong.
I think he's like third team all SEC.
Imagine what he knows about football at this point that like no one in college knows.
No, he's better than third team. He's better. He's
first team all SEC and he's winning the Mackey Award.
He's better. Eric Gilbert is like the top tight end. He's overrated.
Eric, I'm telling you,
Saubert's
7-year vet, Eric Saubert.
Just because you have experience isn't going to make you more athletic.
But he's already a top. Like he made it to the NFL as an athlete. He's an NFL caliber athlete, and now he's going to the SEC.
He's 4th string.
He's gonna start on the very first play of the season.
How many receiving yards does Eric Tomlinson have in the SEC?
As many as they want him to have.
He would none because he would be a tackle.
He would. He'd probably be the
tackle.
No, I'm telling you guys, the number one thing is knowledge of the game. Like, there are guys playing college football right now who know nothing about football.
Then why weren't you a fan of Mac Jones? If the number one thing is knowledge of the game.
Well, I didn't think it was that much of. I didn't think that was going to carry him that far. Also, still not sold.
That's fair. He'll prove you wrong. Actually,
what I'm saying is, you can go back. If you can go back to college knowing everything you've learned in the NFL, it would just be transformational
with grown man strength.
Yes.
Okay. Broncos minus 14.5. Who you guys taking?
Oh,
Broncos.
Give
easy.
me Bama. The backups, right? The backups.
Yeah.
Give me money line. I'm doing 1 unit on money line, 1 unit on 14.5. So what's that money line? Plus 7?
I'd give you
6,
plus 500.
Plus 5?
Plus 600?
Yep. We need to make this happen. Come on, Nick.
Never happening. But I think you're.
That's what's stupid about this conversation. We never get to see it.
What I want to do is ask Caden Stearns what he thinks of this.
See, the thing is, you can't ask anyone in the NFL or college. It has to be like someone totally biased, because anyone in college is going to say, oh, yeah, they've got a chance. That's the SEC. They're big boys. Anyone in the NFL is going to be like, how would you disrespect the backups like that?
I think the only opinion I would trust on this is Cliff Kingsbury. I think he has the perfect blend of being.
There we go.
I think if I were to ask one person, what do you think? Cliff Kingsbury is the answer.
What about Steve Sarkisian? Coached at Bama, so he's seen them right up close and personal, and he's been the coach of the Falcons.
I think he'd be biased toward college still, even though he does have that NFL experience.
He's on that list though.
No, I think he would say the exact opposite. He would say those college kids would have no shot.
My number one that I would ask is Cliff Kingsbury, but Sarkisian's on that list.
I like both of those guys.
Yeah.
I'm asking Sark for sure. Saban would be good too.
I was going to say, I'm just asking Saban.
He would obviously be biased towards his guys. I think even then, if he was on a lie detector, he would say they'd get smoked.
Yeah, but if he's not on a lie detector, he's saying, "What the hell are you wasting my time with?"
Yeah,
then we're moving on.
What kind of bullshit question is this?
I'm not answering it, so quit asking.
With a Coke and a Dasani water right there.
Yes, exactly. All right, let's give a shout out to our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook who would set the line on this, and it would take in so much action if we did it.
I know.
But all you got to do is bet $5 on any college football line. You're going to get $200 in free bets. Some around here might not agree with me. I would put your $5 on Buffs over 3 wins.
Oh, it's purely a 3 right now. So
It's at an even 3, which is always weird.
Yeah.
Pushes in play, but I've looked at the schedule. I'm calling it undefeated October. Going 4-0 in October, covering the line right then and there.
Do they win any other month?
Potentially.
Okay, potentially, but that's all you need.
But all we need is undefeated October. I think we're beating TCU on opening night.
There we go.
Anyways, you could bet on that. You could bet on anything. Either way, whether you win or lose, you're getting $200 in free bets over at DraftKings Sportsbook, which is a sick deal. So celebrate the start of football season by getting in and using that code DNVR over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
I thought you were going to say, either way, win or lose, we're going to booze. And if you're going to booze, then you're going to have to get in on Athletic Greens the following morning.
I love how Athletic Greens has never once branded themselves as a hangover cure, but we continue to do it.
Because it just gives you everything your body
it 100%
needs.
works.
Adaptogens, which Henry can tell us about, probiotics, vitamins, minerals, 75 vitamins. In fact, it gets you literally everything you need to be healthy. That's what Athletic Greens does. All you do is take a little scoop, put it in your water in the morning. Boom, there you go. You get your day started off very well. It's also cheaper than your cup of coffee, so it's very affordable. And also, it has over 7,000 5-star reviews, so many people are big fans of Athletic Greens. And if you go to athleticgreens.com/Broncos, you will get a free year supply of immune-supporting vitamins, and you'll get 5 free travel packs. And got to tell you, we're going to need those travel packs coming up this year with being on the road. They're so nice just throw in your bag and be able to go. So check them out over at athleticgreens.com/Broncos.
I'm going to try to, at some point during this final segment, pull up some of the Facebook comments about whether or not Russ needs to play in the preseason because they are funny.
Facebook is a bad place to be.
It is so bad.
Or it's an entertaining place.
But I just have that thing where you get a notification, so you have to go, get rid of it. And I get DNVR Broncos comment notifications.
Whoa, how many of those do you get a day?
I mean, the thing is, I only check at night, so it's I have
just
50 or whatever, but they go away.
Yeah.
With one click.
So when you're looking at that, should I jump into the comments?
Yes.
Yeah.
Real quick, I got a video for the live audience.
Oh no. What is it?
There's no audio. You guys can talk.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
That is the first apartment.
Wow.
No, that's the second. That's DTC.
Oh, okay.
And look at that. Ryan's
Same
got
art.
the BSM Broncos. We're rocking.
That is a throwback.
That is a serious throwback.
That's pretty darn good. Ryan, you're literally rocking.
Look how white my legs were then compared to right now.
Wow. You've come so far.
I really have.
I mean,
feel like
holding mics.
Podcasts are meant to be done on couches. I think
Rather
that's
than
my new
chairs?
take. I think couches.
So you don't
I think there's a vibe.
Do you want to tell the producer
are
something else?
These are.
These are chairs.
I think these are great.
Wow.
I think
Couch.
this
He's
is a
just
vibe.
taking a shot at
Maybe
producers
it's
again.
the mic
Look at
holding.
that.
I don't know. There's a vibe change.
Oh, you want to hold the mic now?
No.
No, I'm not gonna sign up for
So
that.
you want the couches downstairs, like you liked sitting on the same couch with Zach?
I mean, I definitely
Yeah.
miss Studio A.
I love the individual chairs.
This is a
do
good
too.
studio. Oh, what's wrong with sitting on?
I gotta
couch?
say, after pretty much every day of holding the mic, I'd just let it go, and it would
Yeah.
just be so sweet.
There is that.
Oh.
And then you shake the
For
cord.
me,
a
it's
little
like this little muscle right
Oh,
here that's
yep,
sore
yeah,
from holding it.
That would also
We
be
really made it
really
through the
sweaty
struggle.
for me.
All right, I think I found some.
We've gotten a lot of comments about the Melvin Gordon audio, and that's the Broncos audio. That's what we could get, guys.
Yeah.
So
Ha
that's-
ha, good choice. Now he can get sacked and throw all his interceptions in week 1. His legs are gone and he can't see over Sierra. I mean the line.
Wow.
Sorry, he's not Tom Brady that doesn't need preseason. He's freaking Russell Wilson who had 2 losing years and is on his way down. Don't tell me he doesn't need to play in the preseason. This is going to end badly.
Well, that was just misinformed comment. He's only had one losing season.
Yes, that is true. Is it safe to say Drew and Gino look better than him so far?
Oh my gosh. Wow, the depths.
Yeah, I mean, it goes brag. He thinks he's so special. He's not.
brag.
Also, this is not in response to anything Russell Wilson said. It's in response to Nathaniel Hackett saying he doesn't think Russell Wilson needs to play in the preseason.
Wow.
And he doesn't.
He doesn't. I'll see if I get any more here, but we can jump in.
I have 2 more comments from the chat if you guys want to get that before.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Fathead here said, "What's up? Love you guys podcast. Random. Have you seen the Wendy's commercial where they sing 'My boy with glasses looks and sounds just like him'? LOL. # let's ride."
No,
Like
I
who?
haven't.
Zach?
Yeah, like that.
Oh, like me?
Yeah, he didn't.
Oh, no. I guess I got to look up Wendy's commercials.
I haven't
commercial where
seen a
they
commercial in
sing.
20 years.
That's a good point.
Actually, mostly since the invention of Twitter. As soon as commercials come on, I'm straight to Twitter.
There you go.
And then Peyton is asking, Henry, you going to Missoula this weekend?
No, I am not.
Because he will be in town.
Why would you be there?
I wouldn't. But yeah.
Peyton, the commenter, will be in town, so he was just asking.
If by any chance.
Yeah, I'm hoping. So there's the Cal Poly game that's the Broncos bye weeks. Maybe I'll make it to that one. That's just not a very exciting game. The thing is, like, they play Saturdays, Broncos play Sundays. There's a way to like swing the night flight back or something.
Here's another good one. What a surprise! Wilson overestimating himself.
Wow.
It never says anything about him saying anything.
That is brutal.
Yeah, and I mean, there's 208 of them. So
Wow.
What?
So should we hop into a more informed comment section now?
Please.
First one coming in from LDJ, and we know he's been hearing all the noise that's out
baby,
there.
what are they saying
He
nationally?
said, did the Broncos get disrespected? No, because the Broncos are a quarterback away narrative isn't true.
Wait, what happened to LDJ?
I don't know.
Who has kidnapped him?
Seriously, because once we got Russ, everyone started examining this roster, and the national narrative is these weapons aren't that good. I'm so happy and excited for Judy, KJ, and Cortland, but when I listen to you guys, maybe I'm a biased fan. You guys continued to just dismiss KJ. Ryan is the only one who sees these wide receivers with Russell Wilson would make the top 100 next year. Like, I'm curious, where do you rank these receivers? You just think they're average to below average? Just curious. Okay, really quick. The top 100, if we break it down, is essentially the top 3 players on every team. Now, not every team is going to have the same amount of players, so there's going to be some with 5 or 6 and some with 0 or 1. But it's not like that disrespectful to say the Broncos or X team are going to have 3 guys on there. And when you boil it down, the receivers are probably, you could get a receiver in the top 5, but you could probably make a case for where they land 6 or 7.
Yeah. I mean,
so I'm not trying to be disrespectful by saying I don't think one's going to land on there. I still think that they're going to have very good years.
for sure. And in the end, it's like a complete roll of the dice whether anyone makes it.
Totally. Then you just add the stupid factor on top of it.
Next one's from Big Hank Stan, who says, what exactly are the divisions of duties between Peyton and the new team president when it comes to players' decision, team direction, etc.? Does the Prezi likely make the uniform decisions, Ring of Fame choices? Okay. So I would say there's zero overlap between them. George Payton controls all things football. Now, uniforms are not football. I would say that is going to Greg Penner.
Yes, 100%. And he's already done some digging on that.
Oh.
I know Greg Penner himself has
You've
already
done some digging on his digging?
Yes,
Ooh.
exactly. There's been a lot of digging, a lot of holes, a lot of holes around. So yeah, I agree. It's Greg Penner.
Wow, you're a real Shia LaBeouf.
It's probably Greg Penner.
Were you alive when that movie came out? Did you understand Ryan's reference? We're talking about digging and Shia LaBeouf.
No.
Wow.
That's crazy.
The movie Holes.
Holes.
Have you ever heard?
You've
No
never-
way.
I've heard of Holes.
No.
I've heard of Holes.
Okay.
I think I saw that.
book.
Definitely worth watching.
Yeah.
2003. Yeah, I was 6.
Oh, of course you're alive.
Yeah.
Crazy. I was 11.
Sigourney Weaver. I've only heard of her in Finding Nemo. Is there a Sigourney Weaver
I don't
reference?
know. Yeah, I don't even.
Sounds like it could be.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Anyways, Hopefully it's a combination of two people, Greg Penner and me.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
I honestly feel like that would be a smart move.
Yeah, that would be. The vibes would be there.
Yep. Ring of Fame choices is done by a committee, I believe.
Yep.
And then finally, he says, why hasn't RK seen Top Gun? Have you seen the original? Are you an American? Love, BHS.
He's not an American.
Actually, do you associate with being an American or just being a Coloradan?
A Colorado.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, you're not really. You're more of just a true Colorado
Yep.
guy.
Yep. For sure.
Wow.
That's a great take. I'm going to use that more
Right.
often.
Yeah, there you go. Drew Peacock says, hey, fellas, I got to start off by saying how much I appreciate all of the hard work and energy that you are bringing to these training camp pods. I've been listening for 5 years now, and I can hear the genuine optimism and enjoyment in your voices. It only makes me even more excited for this upcoming season and beyond. I love y'all and that you do, and all you do for us listeners. You are truly appreciated. Well, thank you so much, Drew Peacock.
the
We
world.
truly appreciate that. He says, okay, another food question for y'all.
Yes.
Would you rather only use one condiment for the rest of your life or only be able to drink one type of alcoholic beverage for whichever you decide? I can challenge that you go beyond saying something like beer or hot sauce. Get specific, strawberry sky or Cholula.
How'd you say like margaritas?
So I'm definitely going with the one. No, just say tequila. Because I was going to say, I feel like if you say tequila, then you can have all mixing. Because you're not
That'd be
you're not
perfect.
adding new alcohols.
Yeah,
you're just
fair.
adding things to your tequila. I would definitely choose that, and I would definitely go tequila.
But then you can't have a true margarita because you can't add triple sec or you can't add anything else like that.
I didn't know if there was other stuff in
So
that.
you could have a tequila lime.
liqueur. That's not
You
an
also
alcohol.
can't add orange juice because technically that has like 0.5% of alcohol in it.
No,
Really?
On the bottle, it says like less than 0.5%.
Wow.
Same with non-alcoholic
just
beer.
sugar
so-
alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
How much orange juice would you have to drink to get drunk?
I think I read somewhere one time that your liver would actually
Explode.
die before.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Too much.
I wanted to
acid.
test it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a whole bunch of science experiments. this
Hank,
summer.
I just said you would die. and
Well,
you
that
wanna
won't
test
be one
that.
of them. We're not going to kill one of us.
This is easy, right? Like, I mean, even just like tequila soda with a bunch of lime is like close enough to a margarita
No,
to get
I
that
agree.
part done. But like every different food needs a different condiment.
Ketchup, mayonnaise, ranch.
I hate you.
I'm sure you could blend those into one too.
Whoa! And then you just put that on everything.
On
Okay,
everything.
if I could try that first.
No, stop.
I could try it and see if that would. But no, I mean, if you get everything that comes with tequila, that's great. The one thing about margarita is that it's so much sugar that like sometimes you just want like kind of have like 3 tequila shots, and that's kind of how my day's gonna go. My night's gonna go, I should say. And so like unless you could throw in like a strong margarita, I would be kind of scared.
Huh. Yeah, I'm cool with tequila on ice,
Okay.
tequila soda.
That's
Yeah.
a good answer.
If you can take tequila, I'm taking tequila.
Yep. All right.
I'm gonna take honey mustard.
Stop.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and be able to drink whatever I want.
Honey mustard's a good one.
Yep.
That might actually kind of break my ketchup ranch mayonnaise theory.
Yep.
You're
yep.
having an Italian sandwich. All you can have on it is honey mustard.
Great. Yep.
That actually is a good
Yep.
fit.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's an incredible fit.
No, it's not. Let me think of more things.
Like taquitos, that would be a tough one.
Right.
That
right.
would be
That
A
would be tough.
burrito. All you get is
Right.
honey mustard.
That would be tough. I
That'd
thought
be a
about
lot.
the hot sauce route,
As
but
soon as they see you walk into Chipotle, they set aside all the salsas and just bring out a bottle of honey mustard.
yeah, that would be
Here comes
gross.
a weirdo
That
wants
would
honey
be gross. Probably no Mexican food for me then.
Yeah, you're done with the best
Or just have it dry.
genre of food.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
dry. That could work.
Oh, gross. All
That
right.
was a good question. Bronc Euler says, when I think about the way this team is built, I get the sense that it resembles the Legion of Boom days of Russ's career, more so than the high-flying, pass-heavy return to the Manning era people are anticipating. Given how dominant our defense looks, with a zone run-heavy scheme led by Javonte and Melvin, and an AFC West with a ton of offensive firepower, you'd think the blueprint would be ball control and limiting possessions with an emphasis on red zone efficiency. As much as I'd love to see Russ throw for 5,500 yards and 50 touchdowns in a pass-heavy attack like the ones Brady, Mahomes, and Herbert run, I'm not sure that's our path to winning. I know it's probably not what he wants for his legacy, but perhaps we should be shooting for 2013 to 2015 Russ. Very efficient, but unspectacular stats, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and a win. Versus 2020 Russ, stats worthy of an MVP season and a wild card round loss. Thoughts?
I feel like there was a lot of assumptions in here. Like, I don't really think people are expecting 5,500 yards and 50 TDs.
No, I mean, the over-under is 4,100.
And then the other thing is that Russ wouldn't want it for his legacy. I think Russ wants to throw the ball, but I truly believe he knows the only thing that matters for legacy is Super Bowls.
Agree.
The only thing.
And what's won Super Bowls in Denver? Terrell Davis, and not Peyton Manning in 2015.
Oh, yeah, and, the
defense.
no-fly zone plus Von Miller and Mark Swear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
It's a great point, and I think he's right on the whole, which is that this team, the way that they are going to beat some of the high-flying teams is by keeping the ball, having methodical possessions that end in touchdowns, and then getting, the other team to kick field goals.
The idea of it is great and makes a ton of sense, but I go back to what we talked about last week and this week. Who's calling the plays?
Nathaniel Hackett.
No. Russell Wilson. I say who's deciding the plays when it matters? And that's Russ. And I do think Russ is going to be about the team, but I think he's going to want to cook. And he's going to be doing the Peyton not necessarily to this extent, but when the Broncos are up like 21 points at the end of the third quarter and you have first and goal from the 1, Peyton checks out, he's in shotgun and throws a pass for a touchdown. Yep. I think Russ is going to want to eat this year, and then I think it kind of comes back to earth a little bit.
What's crazy is I rewatched a little bit of Super Bowl 49 the other day, and...
Wait, so who's in that? Sandwiched in between the two Broncos?
That's Seahawks Patriots.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
If they just hand that ball off, I don't think Russell Wilson ever leaves Seattle.
That's a great point.
Wow.
So all of that was altered history and got us right here. People who win 2 Super Bowls don't leave.
Because except for Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, yeah, I mean, and that was just like he was bored.
Right. So maybe we get Russ in 10 years?
Maybe. But I just think that would have changed everything. Like, that buys you so much leeway.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, Mike Shanahan got 10 years off of 2 Super Bowls.
Yes, he did.
So, it was just, I don't know what popped that into my mind. But,
no, I think you're right.
So maybe he remembers that and wants to hand the ball off in big moments too.
So then we're happy that the Patriots won that Super Bowl.
Yeah, they weren't as hungry the next year. They weren't as hungry the next year.
That's very true.
When they got to the AFC Championship.
So it was all good.
Yep.
Do you think there's more variability in the passing game or the running game? Like in terms of like they could finish 10th in passing or 15th or
for this team?
For this year, these Broncos.
It all depends on how much they do it. Like, I think if they committed to being a top 10 running team, they for sure would be. With passing, I don't think it's as obvious, but I think it is. It's whatever one they decide they want to be is what they're going to be.
I feel like they're almost just locked into 10th best passing offense regardless.
And where are they run?
Maybe like 8 to 12. That's where I think there's variability. Like I think that like they could be a bottom 10 running game just because they throw so much.
Yeah, that's
but they
what
could
I
also
mean.
be top 10. So I think running the ball, there's way more variability.
I think that's fair.
So are you saying this isn't Javonte Williams' breakout season, as Melvin Gordon so clearly said?
No, I don't know. Again, that Cowboys joint practice just lives rent free in my head.
Yep.
They just ran all over them. And
Yep.
it was like, wow, if they do this, offense is going to be easy for them this year.
Yeah, the offensive line was dominating
Yep.
the Cowboys.
Nash Bronco finishes us off and says, hope you guys had a great walkthrough today.
Oh, yeah.
Regarding the comment about Hackett's changing demeanor, I'm loving where Hackett has landed as far as balance between loving on, supporting the players, and still holding them to high standards and intense focus. The best jobs I've had all involved hard work, but they were the best because I could enjoy myself in the little moments here and there between the intensity. Also, I loved hearing his bits and pieces about Matt Henningsen. He had some really insane pro day numbers, and I hope he continues his upward trend. Thanks for all you guys do.
Yeah, Hackett today said some good things about Henningsen, said how far he's come since suffering the injury. But then what he said next, I think, shows just how much Nathaniel Hackett likes him because he criticized him. He said he left a lot of plays out there on the field, had a couple of sacks that he passed up, and I don't think
He didn't pass him up. He just got juked out of his shoes.
I don't think Hackett would say that about a guy that's truly on the bubble, that he doesn't want to kick on their way down or kick on their way to be cut. So I think Matt Henningsen's lock.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm not
I
that
think so,
confident
too.
because I didn't
I
say
think so,
confident.
too.
So I'm almost there though.
I'll say lock. He's been so good this last week.
He's like a weak bike lock that could be easily done.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
I think again, there's two factors here, but like he did all this against the Cowboys too. Like he had a great practice against them. He had a great game against them. They saw that. Meanwhile, they're just getting blown away by the Broncos offensive line. I think they try to snag him if you put him on the practice squad.
I'm getting big Jared Crick vibes from him.
yes.
Wow, I have forgotten all about him.
Yep.
Jared Crick. He was the.
I don't think he ever played for the Broncos.
I think he did.
He got
Boy,
injured,
he
I
got-
thought, in his first preseason.
Yeah. Who was he? The Malik Jackson replacement?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was very productive, I believe, for the Texans.
Yes.
Yes, playing next to JJ Watt.
Yes.
Yeah, he was
That would
like
do it.
he was like Von Miller and Derek
Derek Wolfe,
Wolfe. Yeah, exactly.
Started 15 games for the Broncos.
So that would have been the next year.
Okay. Yeah.
No, that right after Houston. Signed a deal. Oh, but then that was the last year of his career. So he played his age 27 season, first season in Denver. Started 15 games,
And
never
then the
played an
next
NFL
year,
snap.
He tore his ACL and was done.
Gotcha. Jared Crick, my first ever press conference.
Wow.
Whoa.
But actually, I had to dig pretty deep to remember his last name. I was like,
That's
"Damn,
impressive."
Jared something.
Yeah.
Did he wear the same number? Is that why I'm getting it?
As who?
Matt Henningsen.
Nope. Same as Draymond.
Okay.
Maybe that's what
I
you're
get
getting.
3. Yeah, not getting Draymond.
No,
Green.
I don't think so. I see why you got Henningsen and Crick confused.
How could you not? Who hasn't made that mistake?
I didn't get them confused. All right, I think
it's
we're
like
good
the-
here.
I
It's like
think
the
we
old
got it.
47, 48,
Yeah.
49, 50. You can get them all mixed up.
All right, end the show, please.